Next, I would demonstrate how to upload GSTR1 via the offline mode. Businesses that have large number of invoices like Reliance, Tata, Airtel, uploading invoices one by one would become cumbersome and time-taking task. To upload the invoices in bulk, GSTN provides an offline utility via which a taxpayer can upload up to 19,000 line items and upload them in one go on the portal via the internet. In case a taxpayer has more than 19,000 line items, the taxpayer can use the offline utility multiple times to upload the invoice details. The appearance and functionality of the return offline utility is the same as that of GSTR1 on the portal. Now, the user needs to access the GST portal, that is www.gst.gov.in, to download the offline utility. The GST homepage is displayed. Next, the dashboard is displayed. Now, the user needs to click on the Downloads tab. Two options are available. First is the training material and second is the offline utility. Click on offline utility, then click on return offline utility. The following window opens up. Click on the download button. The next screen appears like this. Click on the proceed button to download the offline utility. Browse and locate the location where you want to save the downloaded files. After that, double click on the offline utility icon on your desktop to open the utility. The offline utility homepage will be displayed. This page has following three tabs. First, create new invoice or other data for return. The new button is used to create new invoice or upload other data. Return will be prepared on the GST portal based on the data downloaded using the offline utility. One can upload invoice data as many times as one wants. Second, open downloaded return file from GST portal. The open button is used to open return file GSTR2A downloaded from GST portal to accept, reject and modify the invoices. Third, open downloaded error file from GST portal. The open button is used to open error file to correct the invoices rejected by the GST portal. Now, to upload invoice details for filing return, click the New button. The following screen appears. In the GST statement or return field, select the statement or return required to be filed from the drop-down menu. I have selected the option as GSTR1. In the GSTIN of the supplier field, enter your GSTIN number. In the financial year drop-down list, select the financial year for which the return has to be prepared and filed. In this example, we select as 2017-18. From the tax period drop-down list, select the return filing period for which the return has to be prepared. In this example, the tax period is selected as April. In the gross turnover of the previous financial year field, enter your gross turnover in the previous financial year. Lastly, click the Proceed button. Now, the following window opens up. Next step is to upload the invoice data. There are four options to upload the data. Option 1, manual entry of invoice data. Option 2, copy and paste from Excel workbook. Option 3, import full Excel workbook consisting of multiple sheets. Option 4, import the CSV file. Let's start with option 1, that is manual entry of invoice data. In option 2, 3 and 4, an Excel template is required to be uploaded, which I will explain later on. In option 1, you can enter the detail of only one invoice at a time. From the Select section drop-down list, select the applicable section where the invoice data needs to be entered. Firstly, I have selected B2B invoice. Now, enter the invoice details in each column. First is the receiver GSTIN number. As soon as I enter the GSTIN number of the receiver, the supply type is automatically picked up as intrastate, since both the supplier and the receiver belong to the same state, that is Delhi. Now, enter the details for invoice number, invoice date, total invoice value and place of supply. When you select the place of supply as Delhi, then supply type is picked up automatically as intrastate, and this field is unchangeable. Click on the reverse charge icon if the supply attracts reverse charge. In my example, the supply does not attract reverse charge. Enter the GSTIN number of e-commerce operator if the supply is made through e-commerce portals. Then scroll down to the right side of the screen and click the plus icon under the Actions column in order to fill the item level details for this invoice. The Add Item page is displayed. Enter the item level details. First, select the category as goods or service. In my example, I am supplying stationery items to the recipient. Therefore, I have selected goods as the category. Enter the HSN code of the goods, taxable value, select the rate for CGST and SGST from the drop down as 0, 2.5, 6, 9 or 14. In my example, I have taken the tax rate as 6%. As soon as you enter the tax rate, the tax amount is auto-calculated. It is not mandatory to write the HSN or SSE code in case of B2B transactions, while the same is mandatory in case of B2C transactions. After adding the item level details, click the Save button to save line items for the invoice. After clicking the Save button, another row appears to select another line item to be added against that particular invoice number. Now, I have selected the category as service to combine both supply of goods and supply of service in one invoice. Enter the details relating to type of service supplied, its SSE code, taxable value and rate of CGST and SGST. A user can enter as many line items for an invoice. There is no limit on entering the line items for an invoice. After completing the item details for an invoice, click on the Save button to save line items for the invoice. Once the invoice details are saved, the success message is displayed. As you can see that the invoices added manually are populated in the screen. Likewise, I have added the details of one more invoice which attracts the liability under reverse charge. The user has to fill in the details as explained above. In addition, the user needs to tick the column of reverse charge. Rest everything remains the same. Now let us add some more details in other sections. Select the section as B2C. While filing the B2C details, there is no need to mention the details invoice-wise. Select the type as e-commerce or other than e-commerce. In e-commerce, a user has to fill the details of those supplies which are made through e-commerce portals, and in non-e-commerce, a user has to upload the normal B2C supplies. I have selected other than e-commerce for the sake of simplicity. Then select the category as goods or services. In my example, I am supplying, say, laptop, therefore I have selected goods. The user needs to enter the HSN code of the laptop. It is mandatory to write down the HSN or SAC code in B2C. After that, select the recipient state code from the drop-down state list. I have selected Haryana as the recipient state code. As soon as I select the recipient state as Haryana, the supply type is automatically freezed as interstate transaction. After that, write down the total taxable value and select the rate of IGST to be applied from the drop-down 0, 5, 12, 18, 28. I have selected the tax rate on laptop as 18%. When the user selects the tax rate, the tax amount is auto-calculated on the total taxable value. After that, click on the Save button under the Actions column to save the invoice. A success message is displayed. Likewise, you can add for other goods or services supplied state-wise and HSN code-wise during a particular month, like April in our example. Now, I am adding the details related to export. Select the section as Export Invoices from the drop-down menu. The following screen opens up. In the first field, the user is required to select the GST payment type from the drop-down menu. I have selected WOPay in my example. Write down the invoice number, invoice date, total invoice value, port code, shipping bill number and shipping bill date. It's not mandatory to write the port code, shipping bill number and shipping bill date. However, it is recommended that shipping bill number and shipping bill date be written so that when we apply for provisional refund, the refund is granted to us smoothly without any hassles. After that, click on the plus button under the Actions tab. Now, add the line item details just like you entered at the time of filing B2B details. Now select the category as goods or service. Let us assume that I am exporting sugar. Therefore, I have selected the category as goods. Write down the HSN code of the goods exported and its total taxable value. Since the exports are zero rated supplies as per section 16 of the IGST Act 2017, and I have selected WOPay as the GST payment type, therefore no tax is charged on this transaction. As you can see, the column for IGST tax rate is freezed. After that, click on the Save button. Continuing with my example, suppose I am charging freight also from the recipient. So now, I will add the details relating to the same in the next row. I will select the type of category as services, enter the SAC code for freight and the amount of freight incurred. You can click on the Save button under the Save tab and add more line items of your invoice if you have exported more than one type of goods or service. After the item details of a particular invoice are fully entered, the user needs to click on the Save button to save the information relating to a particular invoice. Thereafter, the success message is displayed. Likewise, you can add details for other invoices and save them. Now, I want to view the summary of the invoices uploaded by me. For this, I will click on the View Summary tab. The following window opens up. Summary is displayed. Number of invoices against relevant sections of the return is displayed. Also, the total tax liability for each of the sections, that is B2B, B2C, etc., is displayed under each tax type under IGST, CGST and SGST. Once you have checked the summary, you are ready to generate the GST compliant format of all invoices imported in the offline tool to be uploaded on the GST portal. For this, click the Generate File button. The following window pops up. The GST compliant file generated by the offline tool JSON format will have to be saved to your computer for uploading the same on the GST portal. So, click on the Save button. Save the file at the desired location in your computer. I am saving this file on desktop. The following box opens up. Click on Open Folder to view the JSON file. Next, the user needs to log in to the GST portal to upload GSTR1. After that, click on the Services tab, then click on the Return tab, then click on the Return Dashboard tab. Select the financial year and the period for which the return is required to be filed. Select the financial year as 2017-18 and month as April. After that, click on Search. The following window opens up. Now, the user has to click on the Upload button to upload the JSON file created for GSTR1. The following window opens up. Browse and select the path to save the JSON file which needs to be uploaded in the GST portal. After that, click on the Upload tab. Now this screen opens up. After uploading the JSON file, a transaction ID is generated against which you can track your upload processing status. This happens as the GST system will perform the following processing functions before adding the invoice in respective section and enabling you to see the data populated in the relevant tables of GSTR1. First is the correctness of GSTIN of receivers, that is, they should be having valid GSTINs, etc. Duplicate entries of invoice number for all returns filed by you in the past months of the financial year in which you are filing the data. Other sanity checks on the data uploaded by you. Now, I discussed earlier in my session that a user has 4 options to upload the invoice details. First, I have discussed just now. Now, I will discuss the remaining options. If you will see the offline utility, there is an option Import File. The user can import Excel files saved in its system and upload them using this command. For this, the user needs to click on Import File button in the offline utility. The following window opens up. A user can either import all sections by clicking on Import Excel, or he can opt to import outward supply details section wise. In section wise, again 2 options are available: Import CSV and Copy Excel. Now we will understand each section one by one. Before starting with the options, I would like to discuss the contents of the Excel sheet which is required to be uploaded. A multi-Excel sheet is downloaded at the time of downloading the Return Offline utility. This multi-Excel sheet has 13 worksheets for each section. When you first download the Excel sheet, there is a header only in each sheet. You need to manually enter the data in these sheets. Let us understand how to fill the data in these worksheets. First is the B2B worksheet. In the receiver GSTIN or UIN column, enter the GSTIN or UIN of the receiver. Then in the invoice number, invoice date and the total invoice value columns, enter the invoice number, date of the invoice and the value of the total invoice. In the place of supply column, enter the code for the place of supply. In the reverse charge column, enter Y or N. Y stands for yes and N stands for no. In the provisional assessment column, enter Y in case the tax on the invoice for which details are entered is paid under the provisional assessment, or else enter N. In the GSTIN of the e-commerce operator field, enter the GSTIN of the e-commerce company. In the category column, enter G if the category is goods, or else enter S if the category is services. In case of goods, in the HSN column, enter the HSN code, 8 or more digits of the goods supplied. In case of services, in the SSE column, enter the SSE code of the services provided. In the total taxable column, enter the taxable value of the goods or services. In the IGST, CGST, SGST and cess amount column, enter the IGST, CGST, SGST and cess amount. Similarly, you need to enter the details for other worksheets in the workbook. In case of B2C small worksheet, in the type column, enter E if the supply is done through e-commerce, or else enter OE. Other details can be filled in as explained above. In case of CDNR worksheet, credit debit note worksheet, in the note type column, enter C in case of credit note, or else enter D in case of debit note. In the reason for issuing credit note or debit note column, mention the reason for which the debit note or credit note is issued. In case of export worksheet, in the export type column, enter W pay if supply is with the payment of taxes, else enter WO pay if supply is without the payment of taxes. Again, I would like to repeat one thing. You need to fill up only those fields which are relevant. Others may be left blank. Also, do not change any field in the header or format of the Excel file. Save the Excel sheet after entering the data. In case you need to add multiple line items for a single invoice in the Excel sheet, the Excel row should have the repeated invoice details, which is common for multiple line items. For example, GSTIN, invoice number, invoice date and place of supply. You can change the category and other details related to the line item as applicable. Sample Excel with multiple line item for single invoice is shown below. Once the Excel sheet is imported, offline utility takes care to map the line item details with respective invoice. I hope you have understood the contents of the Excel worksheet. Now, once the Excel file is created, the user needs to upload it on the return offline utility. First, I would like to discuss the Copy Excel option available in the Return Import One section tab. From the Select Section drop-down list, select the section for which you want to upload the invoices. I have selected B2B invoice. Then click the Copy Excel button. A pop-up window is displayed. In the click here, press the Ctrl V keys on the keyboard to paste the data copied from the Excel sheet. A confirmation message is displayed. Click the Proceed button to add the invoices. Thereafter, a success message is displayed. Now, click the Back button. You will notice that the invoices present in the Excel sheet are populated in the screen. Third option is to import the CSV file. To import the invoice data from the CSV file to create GST compliant file, JSON file, the user needs to perform the following steps. First, use the CSV template downloaded as the part of offline utility and create a CSV file for the applicable section of the return. The data in the CSV file should be in the same format as prescribed in the respective return forms. Click the Import Files button to import the CSV file in the offline utility. From the Select section drop-down list, select the appropriate section. Under the section-wise import section, select the Import CSV button. Browse and select the CSV file to import the data from CSV. A confirmation message is displayed. Click the Proceed button to save imported invoice details. Thereafter, a success message is displayed. Now again click the back button. Notice that the invoices present in the Excel sheet are populated in the screen. Now the last option is import full Excel workbook consisting of multiple sheets. Through Return Import All sections, you can upload invoice data entered in the respective worksheets for all sections at one go. To import the invoice data from the Excel workbook, the user needs to perform the following steps. First, open the multi-section sheet available in the download zip folder from the GST portal. Enter the relevant data from invoices and other documents in the relevant sheets of workbook like B2B supplies, business to consumer, large, for interstate sales, etc. The Excel file should be in the same format as prescribed in the respective return form. In case where you do not have data applicable for all sections, those sections are to be left blank. Do not delete any worksheet. Then click the Import File button to import the multi-section sheet in the offline utility. Under the Return Import All sections, select the Import Excel button. Browse and select the multi-section sheet to import data from the Excel workbook. A confirmation message is displayed. Click the Proceed button to save the imported invoice details. Thereafter, a success message is displayed. Now, if you click this back button, you will notice that the invoices present in the Excel sheet are populated in the screen. Now the user needs to click on the View Summary button to generate the file containing the invoices uploaded here. The summary is displayed. Next, the user needs to click on the Generate File button to generate the JSON file. Next, the user needs to log into the GST portal to upload the JSON file as explained above. I hope you have understood how to upload the invoice details via the Return Offline utility.